lesson 23, and we are reviewing on this very first page some of the terms you already know, but we have 2 new tempos to learn today. Remember that tempo means speed. It's the speed at which we play a piece. The tempo marking can also tell us a little bit about the character or how we should feel. Should the piece be happy or just fast? Or should it be kind of a jovial? And one of those tempo markings that we're learning today is Andante, a walking speed. So Andante and moderato can be very similar, but Andante will sound like it's just on a walk, whereas moderato is medium. It doesn't really give us a character. So a composer might choose Andante if they want you to feel like the piece is moving, even though it's not speeding up, but like you're on a walk. The other one is Allegro, which we should all know means fast because that's one of the pieces in book 1 that we learn. And so Allegro means fast. It doesn't, again, this one doesn't give us a character. Vivace, lively or brisk, that kind of gives us a feeling. Like how fast are we supposed to play this? It's supposed to be lively and brisk. That gives us something different than just Allegro, even though they may be very close to the same speed. But typically, Vivace is a little bit faster than Allegro, okay? Now, we can change speeds in music, and composers use certain terms to help us know that. The first one is ritardando, okay? That's the whole word. Now, we shorten it 2 different ways. We abbreviate and then abbreviate again. So the whole word is ritardando, okay? Now, sometimes you'll hear the word shortened retard. So that means slow down, gradually slowing down. Sometimes you'll see it in your music even shorter, just the first 3 letters, rit. All of these are the same thing, okay? Ritardando, retard, and rit. Retard is just leaving the ando off, okay? And then rit is leaving the ardando off, okay? Because it's kind of a long word. So that means we're just gradually slowing down. Now, sometimes you'll see rit in the music in the middle. Now, you might see it at the end, and it means you're kind of slowing down, telling people, hey, this is the end. But what happens if they put it in the middle of the music? Do they want us to gradually slow down all the way to the end of the piece? Well, if they don't, they maybe, but if they don't, they will write tempo. Tempo means go back to the speed that you were playing at before the retard, okay? And we say it tempo. So sometimes you'll hear a conductor say, let's start at the tempo, which is right after the retard usually, okay? So you'll see that written in music, space tempo, and it's written in all lowercase letters. And it just means return to the speed that you were playing before the retard or before the retardando, okay? So match the terms at the bottom of that first page this week. Then at the very top of the second page, this is something from way, way back. Let's see if you can remember it. When a note is above the middle line, so let's say we have a quarter note up here. The stem goes, does it go up or down? Down. And which side of the note is it on? It is on the left side. So if a note is above the middle line, it goes down on the left. If a note is below the middle line, it goes up on the right. Okay? Up on the right. Up on the right. All of these are below the middle line. So that very first staff or those line of notes on the second page, add stems. They're all whole notes, but add a stem, making it a half note, and make the stem go on the correct side, the correct direction. So it has to up on the right, down on the left, okay? Then the next line, write the time signature. How many beats are in each measure? So how many quarter notes? Put a 4 on the bottom, and then count how many quarter notes worth are in each example. Then we have a really fancy word. It's called anachrosis. And an anachrosis is a note that comes at the beginning of a piece before the first complete measure. Okay, so sounds more confusing than it is. Sometimes we call it a pickup note, okay? So we'll have we should have 4 beats in every measure. But look here, in the very first, it's only an 8th note. So this is what we call a pickup. Its official term is anachrosis. Sometimes you'll hear people say the up beat because it's just one by itself. A pickup or an anachrosis. Now, where does this come from? Can we just tack on however many beats at the beginning of a piece and it doesn't matter? Not usually. So usually this beat comes from the very end of a piece. So you'll have more notes, and then at the very end, in the last measure, there will only be 3.5 beats, or 4 beats, and it will be missing an 8th note. So you might see something like this. And that's the end. So here is beat 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other half, the last beat, is put at the beginning. Let's say Happy Farmer has an anachrosis or a pickup. Bum, 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 bum. Okay? We get all the way to the very end of the piece. If you look at the very last measure, get out your book, and it will be the very last measure will be 1/8 note short of the time signature, which is 4/4. Okay? So that's where that comes from. The very end of a piece, when we don't have all of the beats, we call it an incomplete measure. It doesn't have everything. The only place you can have incomplete measures are at the beginning and at the end. And when you put them together, their beats should equal what should be in a complete measure. We just take some from the end and put them on at the beginning. Okay? So that's a pickup, an anachrosis, and then at the end, you will have an incomplete measure. Look at the second page. So I give you a whole bunch of different examples that you guys have played that have pickups. So you'll see at the very beginning of the line, it has the first measure and a pickup. Then there's a space, and it's the last part of the piece. So first, circle all of the pickup beats. Okay, in the very first measure, circle the pickup notes. Next, write the counts in for the last measure. So on the beret by Handel, how many beats does the dotted half note get? So write 1-2-3. How many beats are supposed to be in that measure? Look at the time signature. Should have 4. Where is the 4th beat? It's the pickup beat. So we don't say that that's beat 1. We say it's beat 4 because really it's from the end. So under the very first pickup note, write a 4. 4-1. Okay, is the next, the very first complete measure. Look at the next one, Gavotte from Mignon by Thomas. Circle the pickup notes. It's 2 8th notes. Now go to the very end. There's 2 8th notes there. So the chord that we pizzicato is 1. The rest is and. So that should be 1 and. Now go to the beginning of the line, those pickup notes you circled. If the end was one and, what are the counts for those pickup beats? 2 and. 2 and, 1 and, 2 and. Okay, is how we count that. So pickup notes are usually, we don't start with 1. We start with whatever the count is that we stole from the end and put them at the beginning. Very last one, the happy farmer. We talked about this one a little bit already. Circle the pickup note. Now at the very end, write in the counts. First quarter note, 1. Second quarter note, 2. Third quarter note, 3. And then there's an 8th rest, so that would be 4. But it's not all of beat 4. We're missing half of the beat. Look at the very beginning of the piece. What's there? An 8th note. So how would we count that? The end of the piece had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then the beginning would be and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? That's how you count pickup beats. Now, when there's only one note for a pickup beat, like the happy farmer, we play that note. Most often we play that note with an up bow. If there are 2 notes, like Gavotte from Mignon, we'll play down, up, because we want the down bow, we want to be on what we call the down beat, which is beat 1. Beat 1 is called the down beat. Why do we call it a down beat? Well, the reason is because when a conductor is conducting, he brings his hand down on beat 1. 1. Okay? 1. So we call it a downbeat. He's bringing his arm down and showing us the beat. Okay? So a pickup, we want the up bow to be the pick up needs to be an up bow so that we can play a down bow on the down beat. Okay, then just as something to try for fun is conductors, when they wave their hand, they move their hand or their baton in a pattern. In 4/4 time, we have 4 beats, so they move their hand in a 4-beat pattern for every measure. That's how we know what beat to play on, so that they're not up there counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? They're just waving their hands silently, and we can look up there and see and know what beat we're supposed to be playing. So, to conduct a 4-beat pattern, I drew it here for you. You can take a pencil, your toothbrush, or just your hand, okay? You start with your hand up right in front of your right eye. Right hand in front of the right eye, okay? We don't want it way over here. We kind of stay inside a box that's from about the bottom of our ribs to the top of our head. Now you will see many conductors conducting outside the box. For right now, let's just make an imaginary box between the top of our head and our ribs, okay? And you're going to bring your hand down for 1. Let me back up so you can see me. 1. Now we're going to cross over towards the left side of our body for beat 2. And it's almost like a sailboat. 1, 2, then cross back over. 3. Now, do you see how my arm is in a right angle or 90 degree? So there's 3, and then 4. And when we hit 4, we cross back over, kind of in front, out here, and come up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, let's go even slower. Ready? 1, now over to the left. 2, over to the right. 3, back to the middle. 4. And when you hit 4, you bounce back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on your page, I suggest that you try conducting to something on YouTube, okay? So if you Google kids conducting, a whole bunch of different YouTube videos comes up. You also could try Haydn's Surprise Symphony. Bum, 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 bum. Every note at the beginning is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So get a pencil out and conduct along with a symphony, okay? Now, if it's in a different time signature, then there's a different pattern. We'll talk about those later. But try Haydn's Surprise Symphony, or you could even turn your Suzuki CD on, something that is in 4/4 time, and conduct along with that, okay? So have fun with that this week. And you need to be able to understand what the conductor is doing so that you can play along with it. So sometimes the best way to do that is by learning to conduct a little bit yourself. So have a great week and have some fun with conducting this week.